Welcome back to Society Case Files. My name is Robert, and today I'm going to talk about a show called Untamed. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, I'm going to dive right in. Untamed is a show on Netflix. It stars Eric Bana, and he plays a special agent who investigates crime on national parks, in this case, Yosemite. The basic premise is that these climbers are doing El Capitan, and this woman falls, nearly takes them both out, and then our investigation is into what happened to her. Who is she? What happened to her? How did this happen? And there's some fairly basic tropes along the way, but for the most part, I find it very engaging. Now, I should say, I have not finished this show yet. I wanted to jump in and talk about the first 4 episodes before I forget about them or before I forget details or whatever. And I also want to talk about 2 other things that Eric Bana has done that really remind me of this show. So before we get into the show itself, I just want to do a shout out to those movies, The Dry and The Dry 2, which I believe is called Forces of Nature. He plays the same character in each. I guess they're based on novels. And he isn't the same character, but it's pretty darn similar. Enough so that when I read the premise of Untamed, I was surprised he wasn't the same guy. Except, of course, now he's American, and those 2 do take place in Australia. Now, those are both considered the outback noir genre, which I think is just fabulous. That and Mystery Road. If you haven't seen Mystery Road, definitely see it. It's a TV show, and it's about a cop an Aborigine cop who goes and does stuff. Anyway, The Dry is really interesting because it takes place in a region of Australia that hadn't seen rain in like 347 days. And then Forces of Nature takes place in like their rainforest. So they couldn't be more different in their setting. And they're both very engaging, and I like them very much. They're a little depressing, I warn you, but they're pretty good mysteries, and I recommend them. Great people in both. Definitely worth a watch. Now, because I had seen those, Untamed was actually an easy sell for me. But I could see why, if you were just kind of flipping through the options of Netflix, you came upon Untamed, you might be like, another mystery. I don't care. Yosemite might not be enough to draw you in to watch another mystery show. I mean, I was going to say dozens. There's probably thousands of mystery shows that you could be watching. And if we include all time, it's countless. You could be watching them for the rest of your life and never, ever finish them all. Now, that said, I think Untamed has some pretty interesting elements that set it apart. The park itself is a character. Yosemite is this just massive presence throughout the episodes. And as you start to watch it, you will really become enraptured in the ideas of what is happening there. I mean, the fact is that we get some statistics, things like 100 people disappear a year. It's 1 million square miles. It's bigger than Rhode Island. There's 5 highways that enter it. There's poachers. You could encounter bears at any time. It's pretty crazy. And so when you couple all of that together with an actual murder mystery, in this case, or an investigation into someone being murdered, if that's what happened, then you get a lot of interesting color. And I think that ultimately, when we watch mystery shows, the thing that makes them the most interesting is the color. It's the color and the characters. Are the characters interesting? Do we care about them? Do we want to see them do more things? And sometimes that's because the actor is cool, and sometimes that's because the character has some crazy quirk that we just need to see more of. Sometimes it's the interaction between them and the partner, who may or may not be like as genius as they are, if that's the kind of show we're talking about. I think that Untamed really kind of takes this more gritty, real world approach. The character is not the most likable person. He's more of a guy who's happier to be outside by himself than he is hanging out with other people. There's some twists and turns that I honestly feel like I should have guessed were coming. I should have known, because I've seen other things like what I was thinking about and what happened, but I didn't catch them. So I give them some credit because they did fool me in that regard. But if you can tolerate, it's a little bit gory. So if you could tolerate a little bit of gore, and when I say that, mostly they don't shy away from showing you some pretty nasty injuries. And there are some moments that I found tense enough to where I was wincing. So I wouldn't say that kind of tension is throughout the whole thing. You know, it's not a thrill a second type production. But when they do go there, when they do put you in a position where you have to be nervous, they go for the throat. One of the scenes that happened made my wife yelp. I mean, and it was a legit good reason to. I jumped out of my seat, so scared my cat. But I was very engaged in the show too. So it made it really easy to become that immersed, to be scared by a moment, to be caught off guard, to be in a position where you're nervous. And I think that's where Untamed kind of separates itself out. Oftentimes you can watch mysteries and you're more armchair detecting than you are engaging in the environment. You're thinking that guy's kind of suspicious and those two people definitely didn't do it, and this is a red herring. You know, those things are going through your mind in your typical mystery, especially if you watch a lot of them. But in this, you've got a little bit of that, but you're also like, what the heck is going to happen next? This is absolutely nuts. Anyway, I will talk more about it when I have finished the show. I'm almost done, but it's very cool. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I definitely think you should try it. If you have Netflix, this is worth it. It's only 6 episodes. And it's done well enough that they went from it being like a limited show, like a basically just a one-off, to they have renewed it and they're going to make another mystery. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, have you watched Untamed? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, this is Robert with Society Case Files, signing off.